everybody. I'm CC Broaddus, and I'm joined by the chairman and CEO of FatBallGuyRacing.com. That's Dan Cronin. Hi, Dan. How was your Derby weekend?
My straight bets went well. My Derby bets did not, and the Japanese horse cost us the pick five into the Derby. But then I had a large one going with the Huey bet, but then I missed the last race. I only had seven, eight, nine. So the big hits I just missed, but I hit a lot of straight bets. So I came out about that even, but the pools with all the pick fives and everything were not good.
Right.
We just kept missing one here or there. That the Japanese horse crushed us, and I was a believer that Knightsbridge was going to lose. I mean, we used six horses in there and still missed. I guess I should have just hit the all button, but tag on it.
Hindsight's 2020,
I
as
know
they
I
say.
love Crude Velocity. I bet big on him. I bet big on Stark Contrast, and then I emptied out everything on the turf horse right before the Derby. It was Rhetorical, I think's the name.
Rhetorical. Right.
I didn't think he could lose, so I bet a massive amount of money on him. But all my pick fours and fives went. I mean, hindsight's 2020 on Golden Tempo. I knew after the scratches and stuff that he moved up, especially after the Puma scratched. He was kind of. I thought the top four kind of stood out. I didn't like So Happy. He was kind of in that next three or four horses that I was like, okay, these horses could be an exactor try, but I didn't like him enough to just say, you know what, let's put a long shot on top.
Well, it's time now to put the Derby behind us, and let's look forward to the Preakness Stakes. You know, the best thing about the Preakness, it's only 2 weeks away. I know the trainers and the horsemen don't like that, but for the fans, it's really cool that this race comes around quickly. But this year, the Preakness will be run at Laurel Park in Laurel, Maryland. Pimlico is no more. Hopefully, they'll rebuild. We're hoping they rebuild it soon, but it's going to be at Laurel this year and next year, I do believe. So, of course, all eyes are on the Kentucky Derby winner, Golden Tempo, as Cherie DeVaux decides whether to try the Preakness or skip Maryland altogether and go straight to the Belmont at Saratoga. If she does decide to try the Preakness, she would likely be the only Derby starter this year to make the trip to Maryland. As of right now, per David Grinning of the Daily Racing Form, there are 15 horses. We're going to show that list right now. 15 horses considered possible for the May 16th Preakness. And perhaps the most significant decision of all, outside of Golden Tempo, will come with Bob Baffert's Crude Velocity, impressive winner of the Pat Day Mile, blowing past the highly touted Englishman late. Crude Velocity is undefeated in 3 starts. Bob Baffert, no stranger to quick turnarounds into the Preakness, as he has done it with Silver Charm, Real Quiet, War Emblem, American Pharaoh, Looking at Lucky, and Justify. He also won the race in 2023 with National Treasure. Dan, Crude Velocity earned a 99 buyer, winning the Pad Day Mile. If you own the horse, would you go to the Preakness?
Hmm, probably. I mean, it's a logical step. Then there's nothing really else for him unless he's going to wait for something out west, was a sham or something like that in the midsummer. Uh, you want to find out if he can stretch out because of the Breeders' Cup Classic, obviously. I wouldn't be afraid of Golden Tempo if I was him. I mean, maybe you get run down, but there's going to be some other speed in here according to these pre things. So, but yeah, I would go. Short answer is I would go.
We've got 15 possibles here. Would be a really good race, betting race if all decided to go. Cherokee Nation, also from the Bob Baffert barn, ran a huge figure breaking his maiden. We've got video of it here, just the stretch drive. Won the maiden race by several lengths. Then had trouble getting out of the gate in the Santa Anita Derby. I think his back end kind of fell out from under him as he broke from the gate, and he was last all the way around. So not a good effort there, but a horse that, if you take his maiden win at face value, has a shot to make some noise in this Preakness.
Yeah, I actually had him on my short list for the Derby and was really shocked at the Santa Anita Derby. But sometimes with these young horses, when they get like that, they get out of the gate bad, the race is over. We just saw that with Further Ado in the Derby. I mean, if you don't get out of the gate and you're a speed stalker type horse, you just throw the race out. Further Ado will come back and I think will have a great career. And it happens. He gets slammed out of the gate, and that was the end of the race. People were, oh, yeah, I told you he was going to bounce. You didn't know he was going to get slammed out of the gate. So, but Cherokee Nation's one that if he runs here, he's a big player. I think he's a very big player.
A horse I'm interested in that won the Gotham Stakes 2 starts back, and then was part of that pace that fell apart in the Wood Memorial was Iron Honor. And this one's trained by Chad Brown. Just a limited number of starts. Chad Brown was going to consider this horse for the Derby. He was hoping for some defections, but ultimately decided to skip the Derby and wait for the Preakness. Uh, Financially, I'm interested in this horse because I have $20 to win on him at 20 to 1 in the Preakness future wager. That's the only horse I could make a
Nice.
case for. But Iron Honor, I think a horse that might be on the improve. I know Chad Brown has won this race twice with horses that he skipped the Derby with. I'm thinking of early voting, and I'm thinking of a horse now that ran down Classic Empire. His name eludes me, but that's 2 wins for Brown in the Preakness, and would look to add a third with Iron Honor.
Yeah, he can win. I mean, he's on the short list. I mean, looking at this list, Golden Tempo, Crude Velocity, Cherokee Nation, Iron Honor, maybe Chip Honcho. I don't I don't think any of those other ones are good enough to win.
Yeah, he's won it twice now. 2017 Cloud Computing, 2022 early voting. So
Didn't he win with oh no, he didn't have Bernardini, did he?
no, that was
Who had Bernardini?
Albertrani.
That's right. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, yeah. All right, moving right along. Taj Mahal is an interesting horse to consider. Coming off a big win in the Federico Tezio Stakes at Laurel. I guess you could say a horse for the course for Brittany Russell. And yeah, Taj Mahal. Have you had a chance to check this horse out?
I have not. And the other question I had for you that I haven't had a chance to look at, which finish line are they going to use? Somebody
It's a good question. I don't know.
on
That's a
Twitter
very good
told me
question.
they're going to use the first one, and
Okay.
that wouldn't make any sense.
I don't know. That would be interesting because that if they use the second line, that's a long stretch,
And that
very
I
long
mean,
stretch.
my buddy bets Laurel all the time. So I'm always watching those races. He calls Hazelwood Hazel Pop, and he loves betting on him. So he's always yelling Hazel Pop. And so we watch all those races. I just assumed it was going to be the second wire because the mile and eighths and stuff, they usually run to the second wire. So I don't know why they would run to the first wire on a mile and 3/16. That wouldn't make any sense. But I don't know. We got to check that out. That's a big deal.
If you know, leave it in the comment section below. We greatly appreciate it. Right along here, Express Kid, winner of the Springboard Mile, last seen in February, running second to Pavlovian in a really close finish in the Sunland Park Derby. This horse has been laid off since then, and it appears that they've got their eyes on the Preakness, although nothing's set in stone. Express Kid, really a speed horse, one of many in here that could mix it up early.
Yeah, it seems like at least on paper that there should be some speed. So I'm really curious to see that. So some people always overanalyze the speed. I tend to be the other way. I tend to not think stuff's going to be fast because all the jockeys are always grabbing. Uh, but on paper, this should be a solid pace, which again could set it up for Golden Tempo. But I mean, just that Crude Velocity and Cherokee Nation can run very fast, faster than Golden Tempo can if they get their trips.
Let's throw another speed horse into the mix, Napoleon Solo, who skipped the Derby, winner of the Champagne Stakes, off the board already in 2 stakes in 2026. Again, another horse that was part of that meltdown situation at Aqueduct in the Wood Memorial.
Yeah, and on his best day, he's really good. So what are you going to get? I mean, Chad Summers went from a guy that couldn't get a horse to now one of the premier small barn trainers in New York. I mean, he wins races now and wins races with good horses. He don't have a bunch of claimers. He's got good horses. So I couldn't dismiss this one because if he's got this horse ready to crank off of, I mean, that's a pretty significant layoff now. What, 6 weeks?
Right.
So he
6
should
weeks.
be ready to rock and roll if him and Iron Honor. Uh, I mean, we got to see who's in it first, but I mean, I'd be really nervous of one of these horses up close getting loose, turning for home, and being hard to run down. So I'm not going to be betting on Golden Tempo. I can promise you that. I mean, it's a great story. I love Cherie. I love her husband, David and Gordo. Jose is one of my favorite jockeys on the planet, but I mean, this is the time to bet against him.
Moving right along, a pair of horses that were attempting to run the Derby, but scratched for various reasons. Silent Tactic scratched the week of the Derby, and of course, Great White infamously flipped before heading into the gate. And it looks like the John Ennis team wants to try their hand at the Preakness. I think Silent Tactic. I got to think those guys they're kicking themselves because yeah, that horse could probably uh, taken advantage of the pace meltdown as well. So Silent Tactic, Great White, any of those interest you?
Silent Tactic could because, like you said, I mean, he's got a nice kick and his speed numbers fit with Golden Tempos. So if he could get, that kind of trip and, get a good ride and produce at the right time, he could be storming home for sure. I mean, that Derby was so slow that a horse like Silent Tactic could have won if he was right and in the race and got a good trip. And, a lot of ifs, you know, my dad always says ifs in one hand and you know what in your other hand. So, uh, but he fits. He definitely fits.
The way we've always understood that saying, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, it'd be Merry Christmas all year round. Moving along, Crouper, winner of the Bathhouse Row at Oaklawn. Honestly, I don't know a lot about him. We'll have to look into him. Talkin, who finished, I believe, off the board in the Bluegrass Stakes.
Yeah.
Pretty Boy Mia, who I think won a starter allowance at Aqueduct. He would be an outsider. And then the last horse I want to mention, the Hell We Did, a half brother to the winner of the Dubai World Cup a few years ago, and now his name's escaped my memory. I should write this stuff down. I know Todd Fincher trains, but the Hell We Did was a very impressive maiden winner at Sunland Park back during the winter. Laid off until he ran in the Lexington Stakes and ran a really nice effort, finishing second behind a long shot winner who actually runs in the Peter Pan on Saturday at
I
Aqueduct. But
like it if you're paying Saturday.
and the Hell We Did. I think this horse has some talent. I just don't, I don't know if he's at this level yet. But I'm interested to see if he comes over for the Preakness.
Yeah, I'm hoping a lot of them run. I'm hoping it's a big field. Um, I wouldn't be afraid. I mean, it's not like American Pharoah won the Derby. I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of in this race. So if I had a horse that was cranked and ready to go, I'm putting him in here.
Yeah, Senor Buscador. Senior, he's a
Oh,
half brother to
yeah,
Senor Buscador. So
yeah, yeah. He's
big,
a good horse.
yeah, big
Solid,
horse.
makes money.
Yep, yep. All right. Well, that's what we have now. Again, if maybe 10 or 12 of those go to post, it'll be a great betting race. Preakness Day is usually a pretty good betting card, to be honest. It's a lot of good stakes races. The day before, the Black Eyed Susan Day is always a interesting race. Pimlico Special, I know they run that weekend, so uh, will be will be interesting to see. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. And of course, uh, stay in contact with us. We'll be previewing some races next week, and of course this weekend as well. So that's all for now. On behalf of Dan Cronin of FatBallGuyRacing.com, I'm CC Broaddus. Everybody, have a great weekend.